Hey, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 27th, 2021, and we are entering into Proverbs today. So that's a little bit different in that the book of Proverbs is designed to teach about how to have wisdom and discipline and be fruitful and prudent in your life. How to do what's right, be just, be fair with each other. So it's a very different purpose. The books that we've read so far are more information, like occurrences, events, people's lineages, and things like that. Proverbs is going to be more of lessons that we need to learn. And the book of Proverbs was written mostly by King Solomon. And then there's a couple of other characters that we don't know about yet, Agur and Lemuel, and they will also contribute some to the later parts of Proverbs. There are 31 total Proverbs here, and it's doesn't really take place in a particular setting, but it was written during the reign of Solomon for the people of Israel. So we will be reading today Proverbs 1, Proverbs 2, all the way to 4, 3 and 4, all right? So we've got a bit of reading to do. My name is Brea Doe, and this is Fit Shore Ministries, and we are one day at a time going through this wonderful book called the Bible in chronological order. So let's get going. Here we go. King Solomon, show us what we need to learn. Remember, King Solomon is a wise man because he asked for wisdom from God, and God granted that request. So let's see what kind of wisdom we can hear today and apply to our own lives. Proverbs chapter 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight, for receiving instruction in prudent behavior, doing what is right and just and fair, for giving prudence to those who are simple, knowledge and discretion to the young. Let the wise listen and add to their learning, and let the discerning get guidance. For understanding proverbs and parables, the sayings and riddles of the wise. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Listen, my son, to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head and a chain to adorn your neck. My son, if sinful men entice you, do not give in to them. If they say, "Come along with us," let's lie in wait for innocent blood. Let's ambush some harmless soul. Let's swallow them alive like the grave, and whole like those who go down to the pit. We will get all sorts of valuable things and fill our houses with plunder. Cast lots with us. We will all share the loot. My son, do not go along with them. Do not set foot on their paths, for their feet rush into evil. They are swift to shed blood. How useless to spread a net where every bird can see it. These men lie in wait for their own blood. They ambush only themselves. Such are the paths of all who go after ill-gotten gain. It takes away the life of those who get it. Out in the open, wisdom calls aloud. She raises her voice in the public square. On top of the wall, she cries out. At the city gate, she makes her speech. How long will you who are simple love your simple ways? How long will mockers delight in mockery, and fools hate knowledge? Repent at my rebuke, then I will pour out my thoughts to you. I will make known to you my teachings. But since you refuse to listen when I call, and no one pays attention when I stretch out my hand? Since you disregard all my advice and do not accept my rebuke, I in turn will laugh when disaster strikes you. I will mock when calamity overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm, when disaster sweeps over you like a whirlwind, when distress and trouble overwhelm you. Then they will call to me, but I will not answer. They will look for me, but will not find me, since they hated knowledge and did not choose to fear the Lord, since they would not accept my advice and spurned my rebuke. They will eat the fruit of their ways and be filled with the fruit of their schemes, for the waywardness of the simple will kill them, and the complacency of fools will destroy them. But whoever listens to me will live in safety and be at ease without fear of harm. My son, if you accept my words and store up my commands within you, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. Indeed, if you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, and if you look for it as for silver, and search for it as for hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. For he guards the course of the just and protects the way of his faithful ones. Then you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. For wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. Discretion will protect you, and understanding will guard you. Wisdom will save you from the ways of wicked men, from men whose words are perverse, and who have left their straight paths to walk in dark ways, who delight in doing wrong and rejoice in the perverseness of evil, whose paths are crooked, and who are devious in their ways. Wisdom will save you also from the adulterous woman, from the wayward woman with her seductive words, who has left the partner of her youth and ignored the covenant she made before God. Surely her house leads down to death, and her paths to the spirits of the dead. None who go to her return or attain the paths of life. Thus you will walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. For the upright will live in the land, and the blameless will remain in it. But the wicked will be cut off from the land, and the unfaithful will be torn from it. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart. For they will prolong your life many years and bring you peace and prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck. Write them on the tablet of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Do not be wise in your own eyes. Fear the Lord and shun evil. This will bring health to your body and nourishment to your bones. Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Then your barns will be filled to overflowing, and your vats will brim over with new wine. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline, and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves. As a father, the son he delights in. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. By wisdom the Lord laid the earth's foundations. By understanding he set the heavens in place. By his knowledge the watery depths were divided, and the clouds let drop the dew. My son, do not let wisdom and understanding out of your sight. Preserve sound judgment and discretion. They will be life for you, an ornament to grace your neck. Then you will go on your way in safety, and your foot will not stumble. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Have no fear of sudden disaster, or of the ruin that overtakes the wicked. For the Lord will be at your side, and will keep your foot from being snared. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due, when it is in your power to act. Do not say to your neighbor, "Come back tomorrow and I'll give it to you," when you already have it with you. Do not plot harm against your neighbor, who lives trustfully near you. Do not accuse anyone for no reason when they have done you no harm. Do not envy the violent or choose any of their ways, for the Lord detests the perverse, but takes the upright into his confidence. For the Lord's curse is on the house of the wicked, but he blesses the home of the righteous. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. Listen, my sons, to a father's instruction. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning, so do not forsake my teaching. For I too was a son to my father, still tender and cherished by my mother. Then he taught me, and he said to me, "Take hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands, and you will live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, though it cost all you have to get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will give you a garland to grace your head and present you with a glorious crown. Listen, my son, accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. I instruct you in the way of wisdom and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction. Do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the ways of evildoers. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way. For they cannot rest until they do evil. They are robbed of sleep till they make someone stumble. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. The path of righteousness is like the morning sun, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble. My son, pay attention to what I say. Turn your ears to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and health to one's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk from your lips. Let your eyes look straight forward. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Do not turn to the right or the left. Keep your foot from evil. So today begins the reading of Life's Little Instruction Book, written by King Solomon. And in here we're going to hear words like fool and words like simple. In Proverbs 1:22, we hear, "How long, you simpletons," or simple-minded. And I just want to point out, because we're going to see this repeated throughout the book of Proverbs, that this doesn't mean, when we say simple minds in here, we don't mean like people that can't think because their mind is damaged in some way. It's really just having their own thoughts. And so their simple minds are simple only because they are only human. Versus if you turn and ask God, then God gives you that wisdom. And so your mind becomes a little bit more in tune with what God knows because he shows you and teaches you as you go through your life. But simple-minded folk think that they know it all and don't need any more wisdom from God. Along the same lines is the word fools does not mean stupid, but it means it's a person that can't tell right from wrong. There are very smart people in this world that can't tell right from wrong, tell good from bad. And that is what King Solomon is referring to here when he uses the word fool. So just kind of keep that in the front of your mind as we read the book of Proverbs. In Proverbs 2, verses 6 through 8, we kind of get some verbs of what God does for us. God grants wisdom in verse 6. He is a shield. He shields us. He guards our path. He protects us. So we always have to be turning to the God that does these things for us because he loves us. And so I love that part as we were reading it, just really hearing the character of God come through in those simple verses. And then, of course, we have the Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not depend on your own understanding. Because God's ways are better. They're better. They're higher. And we just need to kind of stay in his realm and ask him what he wants us to do, not what we want us to do. Lastly, in Proverbs 4, it specifically talks about wisdom and a lot, but gives a human persona to wisdom. In fact, uses the pronoun she when talking about wisdom. She will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. And this is a really awesome part of Proverbs. Proverbs 4, this is in verses 6 through 9. And it just talks about what wisdom will do for you. Except that it also, Proverbs, what we read today, asks us to cry out to her, to ask her to speak. And when we do that, and when we go to wisdom, or when we go to God, God gives us wisdom, but we have to ask him for it. He doesn't just dispense it. Otherwise, we would all be brilliant and walking our paths correctly because we know exactly what to do. God gives us the free will to make choices for ourselves, for our lives, to do really what we want. And he wants us and has this trust and faith in us that we will turn to him and that we will ask him for his wisdom. And sometimes we get it right and we do what he wants us to do and we turn to him, and sometimes we don't and we rely on ourselves too much. So Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this entry into the journey of Proverbs, where your word will teach us how to be more discerning, how to be more wise in the call that you have put on our lives, God. God, help us to cry out to you when we don't know, or even when we think we know. We want to be that person that calls to you for clarification, that calls to you to show us whether it is the correct thing to do. That you are our first resort. You are our first call when we are uncertain, when we are about to make a decision, when we are about to take action, with people in our lives, that you would be the first one that we turn to know whether it is your will for us to make the choice we're about to make. God, you know that life is hard. Life is hard and it's full of decisions. And whatever we choose lights up the path we're on. And we can choose to be on a path of light and peace and in your presence, or choose a path of darkness where you just aren't. And hopefully when we are on that path, we hear you calling, because you always pursue us and want us to turn back to you. So help us to keep our hearts pointed in your direction, to keep our eyes fixed on you, and to follow in the path you light up for us, God. God, that we may do that today. Today we may just follow your lead and do what you want us to do. In your name we pray. Amen. Friends, I love the book of Proverbs. It has a lot of contradictory statements where it'll say, if you do this, let me find an example. He mocks proud. This is Proverbs 3, verse 34. He mocks proud mockers, but shows favor to the humble and oppressed. The wise inherit honor, but fools get only shame. So I love how King Solomon shows both sides of the coin. It doesn't just tell us how we're supposed to live, but shows us how our lives will be if we choose not to, if we choose to be the opposite. And in fact, he tells us what the opposite is. If we are not wise, then we are fools. If we are a mocker, somebody who makes fun of other people and raises ourselves up, then the opposite of that is to be a humble person. So it's cool. I love the book of Proverbs because it gives you more, like a deeper insight into how we are supposed to live. And if we don't choose that one way, what we are actually choosing. And when you see it like that, you realize, ooh, I don't want that. I don't want that response from God. And so we choose to walk the right path out of fear of the Lord, because we don't want him to be upset with us. We want him to delight in our choices and our walk. So I wish you a most wonderful and blessed day today. My name is Bria Doan. This has been Fit Shore Ministries, and I will see you right back here tomorrow. Bye, guys.